Welcome to a deep dive. Today we're getting into something really important, especially if you've faced an unexpected injury. We're talking about navigating recovery and pain management after a personal injury. And this deep dive is built around information shared directly with us by Tri Physical Therapy and Pain Management. They're a rehabilitation clinic, two spots right here in Brooklyn, New York. Apparently they've worked with hundreds of people, helping them recover from various incidents. You know, when you get injured, it can just feel completely overwhelming. Where do you go? What treatment do you actually need? How does pain fit in? And then there's insurance, maybe even legal stuff.
It's a lot to handle.
Exactly. So we're going to unpack the insights from Tri-Physical Therapy and Pain Management's approach, look at what they do, how they do it, and why their model might matter if you've been hurt. Let's dive into the details they've shared. Okay, so this whole area of personal injuries. Tri-Physical Therapy and Pain Management, they deal specifically with problems coming from things like workplace injuries.
Workplace injuries, car or motorcycle accidents, definitely. Slip and falls, too.
And sports injuries, right?
Yeah, those are the main categories they mention. And what's interesting is how specific they get about the actual problems people have after these incidents. They talk about the common ones you'd expect, like whiplash from a car crash.
Sure.
Or muscle strains, sprained ankles, maybe a pulled back, things like that. But they also list more, complex issues, overexertion injuries, strains from repetitive movements. You see that a lot in certain jobs.
Right.
Machine entanglement, unfortunately. Torn ligaments, shoulder and neck injuries, those are huge.
Yeah, very common.
Spinal cord injuries, broken bones, various soft tissue injuries. It's a pretty wide net.
Wow, that really does cover a lot of ground. It basically sounds like if you're feeling new or, weird discomfort after an accident, especially those kinds, a clinic like Tri-Physical Therapy and Pain Management is likely seen something similar before.
That seems to be the message. They state their goal is getting you back on the right path, back to your active life.
Okay, getting back on that path. Who helps you do that? That seems key.
It does, and this raises the question of who's actually guiding the recovery. Physical Therapy and Pain Management really emphasizes their team approach.
Okay.
They mention having specialists in orthopedics and traumatology.
Traumatology. It's about severe injuries, right?
Exactly. The medical side of dealing with major trauma, plus rehabilitation physicians, pain specialists, physiotherapists.
Your usual suspects in rehab.
Right. And also chiropractors and acupuncturists. They even throw in holistic pain experts and disability specialists.
That's quite a mix of expertise under one roof.
Why is having all those different professionals working together so significant for personal injury recovery?
Well, if you think about the big picture of bouncing back from a serious injury, it suggests they're aiming for a really comprehensive view of healing.
Okay.
So instead of just focusing on, say, the mechanics, the bones and muscle.
Or just the pain relief by itself. Precisely. A team like that can tackle everything at once. Physical function, managing the pain, and crucially, even the documentation you need. Which is vital if there's a legal case or, disability claims involved.
Right.
They specifically highlight their expertise in traumatology and those disability aspects.
And trying to actually point out that this integrated approach helps not just with getting healthy again, but also with the practical side. They mentioned strengthening a lawyer's case, getting benefits from every angle. That sounds pretty direct.
It is direct, and it really underscores something important in personal injury situations. The medical treatment isn't just about healing the body. It's also about creating detailed, accurate records. That integration, the medical pair, plus understanding the legal and insurance needs seems core to their model.
So it goes way beyond just the therapy sessions.
It certainly seems to. It highlights just how complex these situations can be.
Okay, so they've got the team, they get the bigger picture, including the paperwork. Let's get down to the actual treatments. How do they help people feel better day to day? They talk about a customized approach tailored to your body's goals.
Yeah, and their information really details physiotherapy as a cornerstone.
Okay, physio.
Which, for them, seems to combine targeted exercise with manual therapy.
Hands-on stuff.
Exactly. The overall goal is, improve function, reduce pain, build up strength, increase your range of motion, whatever's needed for that specific injury. Techniques they mention include that manual therapy, massage, stretching, strengthening exercises, pretty standard physio toolkit.
Makes sense.
And depending on what's going on, they might add things like therapeutic modalities, ultrasounds, maybe ice or heat, electromuscular stimulation.
Tools to help the process along.
Right, to support the main therapy.
They also bring up different ways of thinking about pain management. That's often huge after an injury.
Absolutely central.
They mention holistic pain management. What does that mean in their context?
Well, they describe it as using natural, lower-risk methods. The idea is to improve function and reduce pain gradually over time.
Okay.
And they kind of position it as an alternative or maybe something used alongside
Mm.
prescription meds, especially with all the concerns around opioids these days, avoiding just masking the pain.
Right. Aiming for actual healing, not just covering symptoms.
That seems to be the philosophy. But then they also talk about interventional pain management.
Okay, what's that?
They say they use this for acute or chronic pain where maybe other methods haven't quite cut it. It involves minimally invasive procedures, things designed specifically to interrupt the pain cycle.
Ah, so more targeted interventions for tougher cases.
Exactly. It suggests they have a range of options. They can tailor the pain strategy depending on the person, the type of pain, how long they've had it.
So it's not one size fits all.
Doesn't sound like it.
Okay, so if someone decides, all right, I need help, and they go to a place like Try Physical Therapy and Pain Management,
Yeah.
what's that experience actually like?
Well, according to them, it kicks off with a really thorough assessment.
To figure everything out first.
Right. Pinpoint all the specific issues connected to the injury. And then, based on that assessment, plus really understanding your symptoms, where it hurts, they build a personalized treatment plan just for you.
Makes sense.
And they emphasize being there every step of the way. They even mention offering support after the main in-person treatments are done to help you get back to doing what you love.
That follow-through sounds important. What about the practical stuff? Insurance, appointments?
Yeah,
That could be a nightmare.
totally. They state they work with major insurance companies, and they also mention accepting something called TRICARE.
Okay.
And they offer a free consultation initially.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, to discuss your specific situation, help you understand your rights related to the injury, and get the coverage details explained.
That alone seems incredibly valuable. Insurance is so confusing.
It really can be, especially when you're already dealing with an injury. Yeah. Connecting back to that legal angle again.
Right, the documentation.
They actively work with personal injury attorneys. They provide the necessary documents like electronic medical records to back up a case. And get this, their therapists are apparently trained and certified as disability specialists.
So they know how to document the impact of the injury properly.
That's the idea, how it affects your daily life, your ability to function. That's crucial for claims. They even say doctors are available to testify in court if it comes to that.
Wow. Okay, they really seem to cover the bases beyond just the physical therapy room. They also mention handling logistics, like transport.
Yeah, arranging transportation for patients, which, can be a real barrier if you're injured and can't drive easily.
Definitely.
They also offer emergency and same-day appointments, plus remote or virtual consultations if needed.
So flexibility seems built in too.
It sounds like they're trying to remove as many obstacles to getting care as possible. It's quite a comprehensive support system.
Try Physical Therapy and Pain Management lists several benefits you might get from sticking with physiotherapy after an injury. Things like, obviously, restoring your previous function and movement,
The main goal, yeah.
potentially helping avoid costly surgeries down the line,
That's a big one.
decreasing chances of things like vertigo or dizziness, which can happen after certain injuries,
Especially head or neck trauma, right?
and just having fewer sharp pains or sudden discomfort flare-ups.
Basically, getting back to a more stable, comfortable state. But of course, how many treatments you actually need, that's not fixed.
Right, it depends.
It depends heavily on how severe the injury is, how long you've had the problem, your specific life situation, and what your personal goals for recovery are.
Makes sense. Everyone's different.
Exactly. Tri says they can give you an estimate after that initial assessment.
And their overall objective, they state, is always to help you get back on your feet safely and be a part of your success story for the future.
It's a positive message.
It really sounds like they're aiming to support recovery from all sides, the physical, the practical, maybe even the emotional aspect of getting back to normal.
Yeah.
And Try encourages anyone who's been injured and is feeling discomfort to just give them a call for that free consultation or book an appointment to start feeling better.
Wow. Okay. That was a really detailed look into how a clinic like Tri Physical Therapy and Pain Management tackles recovery after personal injuries based on what they've shared.
Yeah.
We've touched on the huge range of injuries they handle, the importance of that multidisciplinary team,
The different specialists working together.
their various approaches to physiotherapy and managing pain.
both the holistic and the interventional
And
options.
all that practical support,
Hmm.
the insurance help, the legal documentation, logistics.
Which seems pretty crucial in these situations.
Yeah. It's clear their model is really focused on a comprehensive, personalized journey back to health and activity. And if you connect that to the bigger picture of recovering from a personal injury, it really does highlight how incredibly complex it can be. It's not just, okay, heal the broken bone.
Right.
It involves dealing with insurance companies, possibly lawyers, navigating disability systems, just the simple logistics of getting to appointments.
It's a whole ecosystem around the injury itself.
Exactly. And Tribe Physical Therapy and Pain Management presents a model that seems designed to integrate all those different interconnected pieces.
It definitely makes you appreciate how tangled everything can get when you're trying to recover fully from an injury.
Yeah, it does. And maybe this raises an interesting question for you, the listener, to think about. How much does that truly comprehensive support, the kind that goes beyond just the medical treatment, to address the practical, the administrative, maybe even the legal side? How much does that really impact the overall recovery journey and the final outcome after injury?
Hmm. That is something to mull over. How much difference does that wraparound support really make? Okay, that wraps up this deep dive. We hope this exploration of the approach described by Tribe Physical Therapy on Pain Management has been helpful and informative, giving you a sense of what comprehensive care might look like. Until next time.